guys, it's Cadence here, and here's the thing. I posted my 5 Wattpad pics about 2 weeks ago, and I posted it and I did not do anything to it. I didn't edit it, I didn't add anything, no filters, I just threw it out there. And I was thinking, it did not look that good. It was just bland and it had nothing special about it. Well, I was thinking, my family recently updated our Wi-Fi and it's going super fast now, so I was thinking that maybe I could actually try editing this video so that way it doesn't look so thrown out there. I want it to look good, so hopefully I can try to edit this one, not too much editing 'cause I'm new to this, but yeah. So hey guys, that was a long intro. I actually tried filming an interview with my sister on her shaved head like a week and a half ago maybe, and I was trying to post it but it didn't work, so here I am with another video. So it's summertime and some kids may be still in school depending on where you live, or you may already be out and you're so glad summer is here. You're just so happy that the break is here and everything is good and you can just relax and do what you want. Well, I have a few story times from my elementary years that would make you really glad that you are not in school anymore. And these will make me feel like I'm glad I'm not in school right now. So hopefully these stories can help you remember some of your old elementary school stories, or maybe you're in elementary school and you are having trouble. I could probably help you with that with some of these story times because I've been through a lot in my elementary years. Okay, so let's start in 2nd grade. From kindergarten through 1st, I was in Kansas. I lived in Kansas. I grew up mainly in Kansas. And my family picked up and moved to North Carolina when that summertime before 2nd grade. And I was a little kid. I didn't know what moving to a different state and meeting new friends was. So it didn't really hit me until I walked into the classroom. So I don't know if I should use real names. I think I'll use some real names. My 2nd grade teacher was Mrs. Day, and she was a pretty cool woman. She was an Indian teacher. She was from India, and she had a parrot she would bring to class sometimes. I can't remember his name, but she would put a towel over our arms and let us hold him. She would put him on our arms. So she was a really cool woman, but she was really strict. She would get mad over little things. And some kids are fortunate enough that never have to suffer through her anger, but some kids are just targets. And I had never been a target in 2nd grade. I was the quiet nerd, so I never really spoke up much unless she was asking an actual question. So I never even got in trouble either, so it was like that. So one day, now this is a really minor story, but it can kind of help you deal with teachers yelling at you in the future. So one day we were supposed to turn in a project where we had to make a poster symbolizing the 100th day of school, and you would decorate the poster celebrating 100. Some kids put macaronis in 100s and everything like that. But where we were living, I lived in an apartment complex, and we did not really have much money for stuff like that or fun things. So what we did was we went to Dollar General and got stickers and stuff, and I made the poster. And our requirements were to at least glue a few things on there, but I didn't have glue or anything like that, so I just put a bunch of stickers into 100 and I took it to school. And I walked into the classroom and I see all these kids with big posters of all this extravagant stuff, and I was looking at mine and I was like, mine does not look good at all. So I was pretty much freaking out already, and she looked at mine and she says, "Where did you glue things on it?" She wanted us to put more thought into it. I said, "We didn't have glue." She said, "Why did you just put stickers on it?" And I said, "Well, that's all we had." She started yelling at me, and she told me to redo my project next week. So I had to stash my poster away, and I actually cried. Now, a lot of kids cried in her class. when teachers yell at me, I cry. So yeah, that was just a little story about her yelling. But this next story pertains in the same grade, but with kids, not as much as the teachers. So I was a quiet kid, as you may know, and I had really hard trouble making friends for most of my elementary school years. But I was fortunate enough to make a few good lifelong friends. Not lifelong friends, but friends that actually stayed with me all through 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And they had been with me, and I still talk to them still to this day. So I'm going to give her a different name so that way I'm not, like, giving out what she probably doesn't want to be in here. But I'm going to name her Alice. Let's just name her Alice because her first letter is, okay, so her first name starts with an A, and Alice. Okay, so her name is Alice. And immediately we became friends. We were in Mrs. Day's class together, and we were good friends. We would laugh, she actually lived in the same apartment complex than me, so we would actually, like, ride the bus together. On the first day of school, the bus was late to pick us up, so we would stand at the bus stop and we were joking around like, haha, we're late. And yeah, she was a pretty cool friend, and she still is. So she was my first friend, and she made me feel like I had a friend, and we were always together. And I had an issue with my elementary school years where I was attached to kids, and if they went off with other friends, I would get super jealous and mad. Well, the first time this happened was when we were on the bus, and there was a boy. I'm going to give him another name. His name will be Andrew. Andrew and Alice were together in kindergarten and 1st grade. I don't know the full story about that, but we were little kids, so I don't know. But they were together, and they were inseparable, and then all of a sudden, I don't know how it happened, but they just weren't friends anymore. And one day, this was the first time I saw him, we got onto the bus, and me and Alice were sitting down, and we heard this boy from across the aisle say, "Hey, Alice, come sit by me." And we looked at each other, and I was like, "Who is he?" And she said, "Oh, that's my old friend from kindergarten, 1st grade." I said, "Well, are you gonna go sit with him?" And she said, "Well, I'll be sitting with you tomorrow." And she moved next to Andrew. And I would sit by myself. And I'm not blaming Alice because it was all Andrew's fault for doing this. And you'll see why in the end. So I would sit by myself, and this went on for probably like a week. Every day, she would be called to go sit with Andrew, and she would sit by him. And well, I would sit by myself, and every day I would get so sad that I had no one to sit with. So one day, I got so mad that Alice was hanging out with him after school. So Alice got called over, I stood up, and the bus started rolling, and I got up and I walked over to where they were sitting. And they were sitting towards the back of the bus with some of the 5th graders. Now, if you have been in those grades, you will look at 5th graders like they are giants, like they ruled the school. Well, there was a whole bunch of 5th graders, so I already felt scared. So I walked up, and they were joking around, and I was like, "Why do you keep stealing my friend?" And he was like, "She's not just your friend." He didn't have that kind of voice, by the way. And I got really mad, and I started yelling, and I said, "My dad's a cop if you keep doing this and that." He said, "Oh, I'm so scared." And then some of the guys, I meant like little boys. They're in 5th grade, remember? And they're in high school now, so, you know. They started saying, "Yeah, let your wife's friend sit by her," and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, he kicks me in my stomach, and I was so scared. And the guys behind me were holding me up, and then he was kicking me. And at one point, when the bus jolted to a stop, I threw myself backwards onto the emergency door. That was so scary, and I ran out, and I met my dad, who was waiting for me, and I said, "Dad, there's this boy," and I was crying, and he said, "Well, let me find him." He ended up talking to Andrew, and ever since that day, Andrew and Alice would not hang out together. In fact, I didn't even see Andrew for the rest of the time I was at this elementary school, so he wasn't even going in there. So, yeah, that was my first bully encounter throughout my whole elementary school time, and I had never been bullied before. I had always been like a social kid in in kindergarten, first grade, because I lived in a small town, but like bullying happens to any grade level. Like there's bullies everywhere. And of course isn't the first time, I mean it is the first time, but it wasn't the last time. So yeah. I don't want to make this video too long, but I have 2 more story times to tell you. Another story time is in 3rd grade. So we had a wonderful teacher. I'm gonna give her name, Miss Englert, and she was so nice. She was pretty, she was smart, she was friends with every kid in class, and she was just hilarious, and she was nice. And one day she told everyone in the class, I'm leaving to go to a different job. And we were all like, what? You're leaving us? And she ended up leaving, and that was around winter break. So when we came back from winter break, we had a whole bunch of substitutes with us. Like almost every day we had a different substitute, and they would keep coming, and like, let's just say I got really tired of it. And one time there was this one teacher that came in, and she had stayed for a few weeks, and we didn't know if she was a substitute or if she was our real teacher, but we ended up learning that she was our actual new 3rd grade teacher. Her name is Mrs. Ward. I'm gonna give her name, it's okay. Her name is Mrs. Ward, and she was, you know, nice, and well, she was nice when she could be. Like she was nice to some kids, and there was trouble kids that she would just throw a fit every time they would do something. So one day there was this boy, I'm gonna give him another name, Zach. He refused to leave the classroom after talking to her and in a rude tone, and she said, get out of my classroom. He threw his coat down on the floor, and she said, pick up your coat. And he said no, and she kept asking him, and eventually she got so mad that she ran across the classroom and started kicking his jacket into the trash can. So these aren't all my elementary school stories. I don't want to make this a super long video because I know not many people like listening to me tell stories. Some of them are not even that big of a deal, but when you're like 8, 9, 10, like they mean so much to you because you're a little kid, and everything impacts you. So I have many stories, and in fact I want to make a part 2 to the series of elementary/middle school stories because I just left middle school, and even though I was only there for 2 years, I have many stories. So I'll make this a 2-part series, and I'm gonna try to remember everything, but I'm just glad that I'm here and I can actually edit. Maybe I don't know if I can do much editing with this, but since this is already 13 minutes long, I don't want to make this too much. But I just want to shout out Savannah from the SS Sisters. I shouted out her in my last video of my 5 Wattpad picks, but I just want to shout out her again because she has really helped me move along with my channel. She gave me some great ideas of videos I can put out into the future, and I just really would like to thank her. Without her, I would have not started this channel. I would have never even posted one video. So if you kind of like what I'm putting out there, sort of, then you can go to her channel, and she has a lot of videos, and she in fact has a lot of subscribers. She has over 100, so that's a lot of people that are subscribing to her. So if you like what I'm doing, I got it all from Savannah. So go over to her channel, the SS Sisters, and subscribe to her, show her love, and tell her Cadence sent you. So thank you guys for watching my video. I'm really glad to be doing this, and this will be a part series. So yeah, I may even do an advice video for kids who are going into middle school because I was freaking out. So thank you guys for watching again, and be sure to like and subscribe and comment any more ideas you would have for me in the future to post onto this channel. So thank you.